let's continue with our piece here. Now, we're getting it down the way we want it. Let's go ahead and let's work on these hands a little bit. We're gonna bring these hands down. Now, of course, it's way too, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna come up underneath here and kind of do this number here. There we go, just sort of like that. Now, well, so much for that. What we want to do is we want to take this hand, we want to make this hand kind of come where this will be the top of this will be sort of like this, in which case we're going to bring that down, and then let's kind of do this little number, and all this has got to be brought down. It's way too thick. Like that. Kind of bring that down, and then we're going to sort of come in between here, and what your hands do is they come together. Sorry, let me just kind of, and this is the back side of the hand here. In other words, the fingers are sort of like in that shape like that. In other words, they come down like that. And the same thing over here. The fingers sort of intertwine with that. Now, if we look, of course, this all has going to have to come down. That's all there is to it. And this will have to come like this, and all this will have to be brought down like here, because arms are not that thick. So we just sort of bring it down, and then we gradually bring this down as well. In other words, see, bring the shirt down, sort of like that, as we say. And then we sort of just bring, there we go, make it sort of straight in here. Just sort of like that. And then we'll put the bring that all down. And we kind of move some stuff in here. And as we do that, of course, we bring this all down in here, sort of emphasize where we're at as far as just like that. And then our thumbs are kind of in this area in here, so we cut away just like that. In other words, there's where our thumbs are on both sides. So we're kind of cut away there so our thumbs will stick out. It's just really, you don't bring it up a whole lot. It just sort of gives us a, and then we're going to flatten this in here. And let's just kind of take that down a little bit in there. Thin that up a little bit more. Just like that. And that up a little more. And let's bring these shoes down. We're going to put the and we want to put the shoes up underneath the underneath the pants here. See what we're doing? Okay, we want to do that. Let me see something here. I want to look at my, oops, I'm sorry. It's just sort of bring this out just a little bit more. I was a little bit too close in here. Sometimes I have to do this all myself, so sometimes the camera work is not the most professional, but I try to do the best I can. Okay. Now we're going to come in here. We're going to make a little shirt type deal in here where it comes down. Comes up, and it, trying to show you that, comes down and then comes up. But if you see from the sides here now, we want to bring this down just a little bit. Need it to be and we're just going to kind of these arms a little bit, sort of like that. Okay, we're getting there. Okay, here we are, and then we'll put the, I'll put the, I want to flatten off this back side here, flatten off that back side there so that I can put the fingers in there like that, and then the golf club will go in there. All right. Now, what we want to do is we want to go ahead and go into the head now. Now, he's looking down. So we want to go ahead and shape this head in a way that makes him look like he's looking down. All right, and what we have, the way we do that is that we come up here, and we put our hat coming down across here, basically. And we're going to put it down just a little bit. So we're going to take and we're going to cut, and if we want to bring it up a little bit, we can. What I'm saying is, so we put the hat like this, and then we're gonna, I've got to get this underneath this hat, and then we start bringing this down, okay? Where it looks like he's looking down, okay? Looks like he's looking down. And we start kind of removing some wood to give it a little bit of look here. And we want to bring that hat down. And we want to come up here, and I just want to make our little brim. See the hat here? Okay. And we come further this way. And we come up kind of underneath there to bring that hat like that. And then of course we bring this across here like this. Now what we want to do is come in here and make that brim shorter. We want to be careful now. When we come back here, we sort of bring that hat up like that from the back, and we're kind of okay. Now let's go ahead and get our, I may go ahead and put a nose on him. Anyway, and then as I bring the head down, I'll bring the want to be careful in these areas in here because it's very small and it's very breakable. Let's put it that way. We're not going to worry about too much. As you can see, so as you can see, I'm just basically making my nose here, using the tip of my knife as I do this, because it is definitely okay. And I know this is kind of hard to see, so I apologize for that. I want to go ahead and just bring this down and cut the hair in here. Kind of taking a little bit underneath there to bring that face out a little bit. As you can see it there. In other words, now when you get into here, you get into some very, very small detail in here. Small detail. Okay, as you see there, as you can see the detail that I brought here to this. There's not a lot of extraneous detail because I don't need that. In other words, I don't need that. And I want to come back here. I want to take some off back here to give me a little bit hair, more room for hair back here. Let's bring that down in there. As we bring the face down, of course, we're going to bring the shoulders down a little bit. In other words, as we get this done, I'm going to go ahead and make some little ears. I would not suggest that you do that. Just leave the hair the way it is, because detail's not the... But I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of ears in here, and that's real small. I've done this before a lot, so it's not... And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to... this. Okay. Just put a couple of small ears in there, in other words. And if I want to, I don't have to do this, but And here I am. What I'm doing down here is I'm bringing this, cutting in deeper so that that face will come out even more. There it is. See from the side here. And then bringing that hat further. Just like that. And of course, as I bring the face down, I bring the hat down also, so it will fit closer to his head. Want to be real careful, just like that. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut just a small little ridge in there for the face. And I know you can't hardly see this, but I cut it the way, but I used the of my knife, I used the exact point end of my knife to do this. And then I'm just going to come across here with a mouth. Not great detail, but don't need it. Okay. And I'm going to cut that a little bit more in there. A little bit more in there. And when you look at it closely, you've got your features in your face. You don't need any more than that. It's not necessary to have great features because he's looking down. The hat takes up most of his time. Like that. Okay. Now, we've done that to the face now. Then I want to kind of cut away from this face a little bit from the shoulders. Once you get the head done, then you can and then you can sort of bring these shoulders down. What I'm saying is cut them like this where they okay. So we've got him now in the position that we want. Cut just a little bit more in here, bring those arms down. Like I said, I'm just sort of finishing up here. Okay. Now we want to come around the back here with the shirt just a little bit. And collar, as we say. And we're just gonna take a little bit more off in this area. Okay, I'm gonna let you go for now, but we're almost there. In other words, we're almost where we want him. We're looking from the back and stuff, and so I'm gonna let you go for now, saying we'll come back.